Okay, so welcome to our first made verse. This is my official first video I'm going to be posting. I already posted 2 short videos about muscle contractions, mainly isotonic muscle contractions. So this is the video that combines both 2 short I posted earlier. So I'm going to be talking about muscle contractions, mainly isotonic muscle contractions, and I'm going to be giving some visual cues and tips to make you remember them faster in any examination or test. So this video we are going to be focusing on mnemonics to remember isotonic contractions. Okay, so the 2 variables you have to keep in mind that we are going to be talking about in this video is muscle fiber. So let me go back. Muscle fiber tension and muscle fiber length. So these are the 2 variables you have to keep in. We are going to be talking about the tension and the fiber length here. So this is a visual representation of the tension is like the force, while the length this is the visual representation of the length. Okay, so for isotonic contraction, the tension remains the same, just as the name implies. Isotonic, the tension remains the same while the length changes. So depending on whether the length is shortening or lengthening, it depends on the 2 types we are going to be talking about, whether it is lengthening or shortening. Okay, so like most medical concepts or words that have their origin in Greek or Latin, the key to understanding most is to break down the word, like to know the etymology or the origin of the word. It makes it easier for you to remember them. Most of these words are not pure English. So just like the isotonic, iso means same or equal, and tonic means tension. So it literally translates to equal tension. Here, so there is iso and just tonic. If you break down the words. Okay, so this is about concentric contractions. In concentric contractions, the muscle fiber, the tension is going to remain the same while the length is changing. But in this case, for concentric, the length is shortening. For concentric, so okay, so the tension is going to be remaining the same here while the length is going to be changing. So this the fiber length will change while the tension will remain the same. So the length is going to be shortening here. So these are the cues I've made on the tip to make you remember them. So for concentric, so So for concentric, what you can do is to flex the biceps and visualize the shape it forms. The shape your arm form with your arm. So a C shape is going to form, which is here. So another tip is to use the first letter for concentric equals to curl, is equals to C shape. So from that you're going to be knowing that the length is going to be decreasing here in concentric. Okay, so for eccentric, just like concentric, the tension remains the same while the length changes, but the length is not shortening in this case. The length is increasing, it's lengthening or increasing in this case. So concentric and eccentric are like what and opposites, antagonists. So but the tension is still constant here. So this is the visual cue for eccentric. Okay, so let me talk about this one. So visualize E shape. In the case of concentric, what we are visualizing is C, because C starts concentric. But for this one, we are going to be visualizing E. E for eccentric. And what we are going to be doing is to rotate the alphabet, especially in your memory, either 90 anti-clockwise or 90 clockwise. So this is what I mean with that. So let's say this is a space, this is 90, 90, 90, 90, making 360. So this is E. So when you rotate E anti-clockwise 90 degrees, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the shape. If it is clockwisely 90 degree, you're going to be getting this. So this is what I mean by that. Something similar to W or M, but they are not exactly W or M. So we're going to we are removing these three short dashes, either facing up or down. So what we are left with is a straight horizontal line. So the constant between how you visualize either anti-clockwise or clockwise is the horizontal line. So this line is going to be representing the extension or the lengthening of the C shape, in contrast to the C shape we get in concentric. So think of eccentric, E for eccentric, and extension. So this is eccentric, this is concentric. So this is going to be, this C is going to be shorter than extension. So concentric is shortening the muscle, while eccentric is extending the muscle fiber, it's extending the length of the muscle fiber. Okay, so the second type of muscle contractions aside isotonic is isometric. So this is the second type. I'm going to be briefly talking about this one. So for isometric, just like isotonic, we're going to break down the word into iso and metric. So iso means equal or same, and metric is like measurements, length or size. So it literally translates to equal or same lengths. So in contrast to isotonic, here the tension is not constant. The length is the constant variable here. The muscle fiber length remains the same, is a constant variable, while the tension is going to be changing here in this case. Okay, so the summary of both is that in isotonic, the length changes, tension remains constant, while in isometric, the length remains constant, while the tension generated can change to maintain posture. So when you see them for the first time, what you have to think about is to think about the breakdown of the words. So that way you're going to get what they meant, which one is constant and which one is changing. So one good example of isometric contraction is plank. Plank is an example of an isometric exercise. So in a plank, the muscle length is not changing. The muscle is contracting, but the length is not changing. So the length does not change. The joint angle remains constant, but the muscles are actively contracting. So the muscles are still active. So over time, tension in the muscle increases to maintain the same position, because you are staying in a position, you are not changing. So the tension increases to maintain the posture as fatigue sets in. As you get tired, the muscle is not moving, but it's actually working harder. So here is a visual representation of a plank exercise. So, but use this tip to remember isometric contraction. So use the I and M in isometric is going to stand for immobility, which means you are not actually changing. So the IM stands for immobility, meaning the length is fixed, isometric, same length, not changing. So immobility, so just think in summary the theory: concentric, C shape, length is changing, is shortening. For eccentric, E straight line, straight horizontal line, length is increasing, while isometric is immobility. The length is the same, it's constant, but the tension is increasing. So that's all for this video. This end of the video. This tip might be useful in remembering vital points, and it will aid your retention in exams. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.